Hello everybody, I'm back after a 2-week hiatus. Towards the end of the video, if you guys care about my life, I'll fill you in on just a couple things that happened and why I haven't released my video. Why I didn't release my video last week. So yeah, let's just get to the actual video. So today we are going to covering a history, or more specifically, a brief history of Comme, Garçons, its origins, its rise to popularity, and how it's doing today, basically. So yeah, let's get started. Comme Garçons was created by Rei Kawakubo in 1969 in Tokyo, Japan. Rei was born on October 11th, 1942 in Tokyo, Japan, and she was the oldest sibling out of her two siblings. She was the oldest girl, and the only girl also. In 1960, she enrolled in Kyoto University, where she went on to study and she got a degree in the history and study of aesthetics. And that obviously had some influence on her later decision to start her own fashion label. I'm sure that did, because obviously aesthetic and fashion are two very intertwined things. And actually, when I was doing the research for Comme des Garçons, I realized, I was like, why did a Japanese lady make her clothing label Comme des Garçons? But it actually translates to like some boys or like boys. I'm not sure why, because the clothing label at first was a women's only label, so I'm not sure why it was like that, but I don't know. It's creative genius, I guess. I don't even know. She just called it that, and it stuck, I guess. So yeah, that's why it was called. That's what Comme des Garçons actually means. The brand actually started to gain some popularity in 1970 in Japan. It wasn't as well known throughout the world. It kind of just really started to peak. Not peak. It really started to gain more momentum, popular in Japan in the 1970s, and it actually first added its menswear section in 1978 as well. So before then, it was a strictly only just women's clothing label. In 1981, the clothing had its debut in Paris, and basically after this, I'm pretty sure it was at like a Paris type of fashion week type of thing. And after this happened, more eyes had seen what Comme des Garçons was like, so it was beginning to be more of an international clothing label and had more eyes on it. So it started to, the popularity really hit exponentially after its Paris fashion debut. During the 80s, the clothing brand was considered to be more of a punk style, with its use of blacks and dark colors, and just in general the whole style of the clothing that Rei had envisioned had more of a punk feel to it during the 80s. So that's another interesting fact about it. And then throughout the 90s, it was still turning out its more distinct, unusual style, which some fashion critics didn't really like. But like, I don't know. I feel like fashion critics are kind of useless, because like, what do they really do? You know, they kind of just I don't know. I feel like just critiquing certain fashions, like, what's the point of it? It's fashion. It's just its own thing. It's just clothing. I don't know. That's my take on it. It doesn't really matter. Who cares about me? I'm just here making the video, right? Another key thing about Comme des Garçons with its unusual style was that all the clothing was handmade. There was no type of just pumping out clothing over and over again, because obviously it was more a high-end fashion label, which I'll get to later, because you're probably thinking the Comme des Garçons with the heart, and that's actually Comme des Garçons plate. That's not the original clothing label. The original clothing label was more of a fancy, high-end fashion label, and it was actually made. Most of its stuff was made handmade, so it had this very authentic. Sorry, I can't speak today. It had a very authentic feel to it, and it was considered to be kind of unusual. Over the years, Comme des Garçons came to collab with many other popular clothing labels. There's Levi's, Louis Vuitton, Nike, Supreme, like all the big hitters in the fashion world. Comme des Garçons is collab with, because obviously they're another big fashion label, and it just benefits both sides to collab with each other. This is probably what you guys were envisioning when you first heard of Comme des Garçons, was the iconic red heart symbol. And that was actually a clothing line added to Comme des Garçons called Play, which I said earlier in the video, and this was created in 2002. And the logo was actually created by a Polish artist by the name Filip Pagowski. I'm pretty sure. I might be pronouncing that wrong. A lot of the names might be pronounced wrong in this. Yeah, and the Play line had a more casual feel to it. The original Comme des Garçons was more fancy, high-end fashion, but Comme des Garçons had its more basic. It had its graphic T-shirts, its knits, accessories, the shoes, home stuff and stuff like that. But it was more of a casual streetwear feel. Yeah, so the play line started to gain a lot of popularity when celebrities like Kanye West and Pharrell Williams started to wear the clothing brand, and that really boosted its popularity because if you want something to get popular, you get a celebrity to wear it, and there you go. It's definitely gained some popularity. So that happened. It also collabed with Converse, and also collabed with Bathing Ape, and many other new clothing labels. When Play came out, it really took off. So Comme des Garçons Play is now the best-selling clothing line for Comme des Garçons. It makes the most money for it, and the Comme des Garçons brand in general has countries all over the world with the biggest ones and the main ones being in like New York, Paris, Hong Kong, Seoul, Tokyo, Kyoto, all over the world. All the big cities. There's gonna be a mainline Comme des Garçons store. I looked this up, and this is incredible. And apparently, Comme des Garçons is still rolling with how much profits they're making. But they make up to $280 million annually just off their clothing line. They also have a perfume. There's a Comme des Garçons perfume, but it's not as popular because it's mainly a clothing label. But altogether, they usually rake in approximately $280 million. And it makes sense because one of the cheapest things you can buy from Comme des Garçons would be their t-shirts, like just the graphic tees with the heart on it. And those go for about your cheapest, like $100. And then I was looking at more stuff. Some items can go to like $5,000. Like, it's ridiculous. I saw this thing that looked like a suit of armor. It was like $4,000. There was this other thing that was like $5,000, $3,000. Like, ridiculously expensive items. And honestly, they don't even look cool, you know? It's kind of just the clout of having I feel like it's the clout of having the brand on you and how expensive it is. But anyways, you can see where they can make $280 million a year when they're selling $5,000 pieces. So yeah, that's Comme des Garçons. Fairly recent brand. It's not like Champion that was made literally like before World War I. But yeah, it's pretty recent. It's also another Japanese brand, kind of like a Bathing Ape. So the Japanese have their way with fashion as well. There it is. A brief history completed. I'll just get to the part now where I didn't upload. I'm not gonna get into it too much, but there's been a couple things just going on, school, personal life, and stuff like that. That's been kind of just affecting my YouTube schedule. So I haven't been able to upload, obviously, once a week because a couple things happen. I won't get into detail. It's not that important. You guys really don't need to know the nitty-gritty parts of my life. Yeah, that's why I didn't upload. I apologize. I will try my hardest to keep my schedule going, so I'm pretty sure this is a 2-week gap, and I'll try my hardest to stay on my upload schedule so I can make more videos for you guys. And I want to do a brief history because I haven't done it in a while, and I don't know, it's fun. I like learning about these clothing brands, of course, telling you guys about it. So yeah, that was a brief history. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe, share with your family, your friends, anybody. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys next time.